Hey everyone, we're ready to go once again with episode 10 of the GardenCast. I've got Max here, I've got Sam here,
Yo.
and I'm Nolan, and I'm ready to get started.
Can I take your order?
Yeah, I'll have the stuffed chicken marsala.
Oh, me too.
You know what? Then I'm gonna get the stuffed chicken limone.
Ooh, that sounds good too.
Why don't I get the limone, you get the marsala, and we'll switch?
Try two great dishes from Olive Garden. Stuffed chicken marsala, bursting with Italian cheeses and sun-dried tomatoes in a creamy marsala sauce. And new stuffed chicken limone in a light lemon butter sauce, both with endless salad and breadsticks.
Switch?
Share.
Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family.
Wow.
That was incredible.
This really is just open up a whole new door.
Now, guys, if you ever have problems with girls, you need to look at this commercial because it tells you exactly how to pick on girls.
Absolutely, you get the marsala, you get the limone, and then you switch. It's like a 3-step process.
I like how she shuts down his switch with a share.
Yeah, he wants to switch.
She wants to share.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, like, the extended cut of the commercial to see if is on board with sharing, or if it escalates into an argument that creates a scene in the restaurant because he wants to switch and she wants to share.
I think this really shows a lot of tension in their relationship, wherever they're at in that. But you can tell there's a lot of problems behind the scenes here.
Yeah, you bring up a great point about the relationship because we don't know how the relationship even is. Are they married? Are they just dating? Are they just friends? Do they not even know each other before they walked into the doors of this Olive Garden?
I think that's a good point. I think maybe they're spies from Burger King trying to get out the new recipes from Olive Garden because Olive Garden is pure Italian food.
I could see that if Burger King ever wanted to get into the Italian game, they would go straight to Olive Garden. They'd send their spies.
I have rumored they're working on a lasagna.
Yeah, the new
From an
BK
inside
lasagna.
source.
Yeah.
But as far as this relationship, I think that's a good point. If I had to guess, I would say that it's early in the relationship, and this guy is still trying to pull his moves, but she's not having it.
Right, because he was being aggressive. He was going for it. He was like, "We're gonna switch," but she'd rather share.
Yeah, and he's trying to call all the shots. He wants to be the big man in charge.
Yeah, it's interesting. You see that shot there after he suggests that they switch. You see the first time. You see the look in her eyes. She's laughing. She thinks it's funny, but you can tell she's not. Not on board.
That's a laugh of oh boy, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. You can tell the guy's trying to be in control. He's trying to be in control, but she's really the one who's in control. Because she's like, I'm not playing your games.
He's just trying to force this whole 80s patriarchy down her throat. And, she's just not going to fall for that
It's
shit.
It's the 21st century. This is 21st century at Olive Garden.
I think she's gone to Olive Garden more because the way she laughs at him, that laugh just shows that she's pure Olive Garden fanship.
She knows the laugh.
That's
She's
a good
familiar
point.
with. She understands the culture, really. I mean, you get that chicken marsala. It's bursting with the Italian cheeses.
It sure is.
And I think this guy's bursting with ideas about how to switch their meals. But she's ready for that bursting Italian cheese. But I don't know if she's ready for those ideas that are blasting out. I think she's kind of shutting those down. We can share, but we're not going to switch.
Yeah.
So she's team share and he's team switch.
Right.
I think, sorry, what were you saying there, Sam?
Well,
cut you off.
Team switch and team share. And dudes team switch and girls team share.
That's a good point. How about you let us know on Twitter with the hashtag Team Switch or Team Share. Let us know which team you're on.
I just want to bring up something. So she's pretty has that sort of laughter and stuff throughout the whole thing, but the guy you only really notice him laughing at the very beginning, and then through the rest of it, he gets kind of serious.
He gets
about
serious.
stuff.
He absolutely does. I think, he's got a smile on his face, but you can tell that
He's masking the pain there.
Exactly. And I think he's not quite as comfortable in the Olive Garden environment as she is.
Yeah, he's not used to being family.
Yeah, he's not used to this, and he's feeling a lot of pressure to choose the right dish, to choose something that he's gonna like, and he's trying to jump the gun a little bit with his switch proposal, and she's not having it.
She is having that pasta.
She definitely is. You see her at the end picking up the fork and knife, and she's like, "Hey, I'm getting the first bite. You're not.
Do you
not
guys
switching
notice
here."
the guy walking behind him towards the end? The very end of the video, there's a guy walking behind him. He could be a spy, spying on what type of food they want. He could even be an Olive Garden food stealer. You never know. But he's standing right behind.
You gotta watch out for those Olive Garden food
Let's
stealers.
check it out right here.
Right coming up pretty soon
I've
after
got to
the
see those
breadstick.
breadsticks.
Right there. See that guy?
Oh.
He's doing something
I
really
think
gonna
he
say-
might be the same guy that walks behind him.
Okay, we see him
before.
walking in the opening shot there, and then we see him
There he is. And then he comes
through
here.
again. So he walks that same path
Yeah, he's definitely doing a circuit.
three separate times. So I'd with those 3 times, I'd be willing to believe that he's doing a circle or directly around their table.
Is he like the manager or something? Seeing if they like the food enough, or
He may be some kind of security guy, making his rounds.
Yeah, checking the cameras. And
I'm just making sure everything's going okay at this one table because they're not sure about this guy. They're not sure if this guy is really part of the family yet.
they're not even sure if he's a real dad.
So exactly. So they send this black shirt security guy to do at least 3 laps around the table in order to really scope out the situation.
Yeah, honestly, that's one of the things that really sets Olive Garden apart from the competition is their really high quality security and how seriously they take that.
Yeah, I mean, not every restaurant will have a guy in a black shirt doing rounds around the table just to make sure, everything's under control.
he's probably trying to make everyone feel safe, just in case there's no Olive Garden assassination like there was before.
Yeah, definitely that's a good point because an important value of family is safety. You gotta feel.
You want to feel at home, and
you gotta feel
safe.
You gotta
at
feel
home, so
safe.
you gotta feel safe at Olive Garden.
In your family.
Because Olive Garden is your home.
And you see he's trying to pass it off. He's walking like a casual guy. He's just kind of looking around, but he's serious. Like, he looks like a guy who's on a mission.
He's got some casual pants, but some serious shirt.
Exactly. I mean, the shirt is really where it counts.
I really like that shot of the sun-dried tomato being cut.
Yeah, it is a nice
It looks real
close-up.
nice. Good knife there.
Yeah, and that I think we've seen it before. That fountain of salad dressing there.
Yeah.
It's creating a pool of salad dressing.
You know it's not a good salad unless the lettuce is swimming.
It's got to be a lake, ideally. Why don't we take a look at what's on their table? Because I saw a glass of wine. Do they both have wine? I bet they both have wine.
They're both whiners, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But you can't be truly Italian without having sponsored Olive Garden wine.
True. Yeah, they got different wines, though.
She's got a red and he's got a white.
Exactly. One thing I think is interesting is, I think it's at the end, as they're talking. Oh, no, it's right there. While they're ordering, she picks up a breadstick.
But I don't think we see him take a breadstick at any point.
No, I think she's got a breadstick again at the end. She's breaking it apart. So she's clearly a breadstick fan.
That just really supports the thing that we've touched on before, that she's really all in on the Olive Garden, and he's kind of like out of place.
Right.
She could be putting a chip from Burger King in there to try and see how tasty that bread is, and Burger King will see what that bread is made of by just putting a chip in there.
Mm-hmm. You notice she sets down her menu on her plate. Not sure about the sanitary aspect of that, but she sets it down just so she can go reach for a breadstick during the ordering process.
That's dedication.
Yeah, she can't even wait until the waiter leaves. She's gotta get her stick going right there.
Now, not everybody is a true Olive Garden junkie, but these people showed their true Olive Garden junkie colors today.
Yeah, you really see that coming loud and clear.
Another thing that's coming loud and clear is the This is obviously predates the release of Nintendo's latest console. I think there might be some insider information they had here.
Exactly. When he says Switch, he could be talking about more than just switching plates, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
See, what this guy knows is that, Nintendo's working on this console. It's gonna happen sometime in the future. He's just trying to spread the news here, but she's all like, no, we got to be talking about share. How the PlayStation 4 is gonna have a dedicated share button.
That's a very good point. He's all about switching from being a mobile gamer to a home gamer, but she wants to hit that PlayStation 4 share button. Another theory I just want to throw out of left field just to make sure we've covered it. Not saying this is the way it is, but she could be talking about Cher, the pop singer.
That's a good point. Because her Twitter is pretty great.
Yeah.
And that would definitely be a good tie-in there.
Yeah, because maybe he's thinking about that new upcoming Nintendo console. She's thinking about that new album from Cher. Just a possibility.
If they could combine Share with Switch, that would be revolutionary.
Yeah, kind of like, you remember back when Apple automatically put the new U2 album on every iPhone?
Yeah.
How about Nintendo puts the new Cher
the next
album?
update is going to be the latest Cher album.
You're going to turn on your Nintendo Switch, it's going to say, hey, we got to download an update. You watch that progress bar, you wait about an hour, and then you've got the new Cher album.
Because right now you can't even listen to anything on the Nintendo console, so they're going to roll out that feature with the whole Cher album.
They're going to roll it out incrementally, and initially, right now you can't listen to anything. Then you're
only be able to listen to Cher.
Only can listen to Cher. And then eventually,
once people get used to it, then maybe they'll open up to some of their music. I don't know, maybe
Madonna,
Nickelback,
something like that.
Limp Bizkit, Blink-182.
Yeah.
All the hits.
Hate Bread.
Yeah,
Stained.
This could be like maybe some Nickelback. This could be like a preview. I don't want to sound like it's like some kind of conspiracy theory, but it's possible that they're dropping secrets in this commercial.
I think they are.
For Nintendo's corporate strategy.
They could be putting Nintendo Switches inside of Olive Gardens to make it more family-like.
I think what this is Olive Garden used to be partnered with Nintendo, and they would always provide the catering for their big Nintendo business meetings.
Yeah, and the Nintendo World Championships.
Right. You don't get that without that Olive Garden flavor. Olive Garden and Nintendo go way back.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows you how many layers there are here. Almost as many layers as that chicken marsala.
The name Mario from the Mario games comes from one of the first chefs that worked at Olive Garden.
Right, Chef Mario. He was an Italian born and raised. Grew up around in the family kitchen.
And he had a brother named Luigi who was also a chef. And they were both plumbers outside of the job.
Yeah, but then eventually they switched to Olive Garden full time because it was such a smash hit.
Yeah. And when it comes to World Wars, Olive Garden was totally neutral because they loved everybody. So they stayed alive through the World Wars, and some restaurants didn't. But Olive Garden has been here for a very long time.
Absolutely, because family is always there no matter what.
Right, and they had to maintain neutrality to get all that access to the Swiss cheese.
Hitler actually came to Olive Garden once. He was searching for Jews, but then he's like, man, this food feels so good. It's family. He saw some Jews, and he just left. He didn't care because the food was that good.
Yeah,
that's a story they don't tell you about.
They definitely don't.
This is the kind of stuff they don't tell you about. And that's why we're here to tell you about it today.
You're not going to find this in the history books.
Yeah, but
unless you get the Olive Garden history book.
Exactly, the Olive Garden.
Which is a great coffee table book if anybody's looking to add that to their collection.
It's history
on Amazon
from an Olive Garden perspective, really.
Some of the pages are even scratch and sniff, so you can smell the pasta before you eat it.
And some of those breadsticks, of course.
Oh yeah,
which are free.
Yeah, by the way, free breadsticks.
Now, when we're talking about background things in this video, I really like the guy that's just like sitting at a table, kind of in the center in the background. If we get a good look at him in a bit here, you can see him
That
there
guy
with that
back
light
there.
blue shirt.
He stands
up
up
at the very
right at the
end.
end.
I just think he's very intriguing.
Yeah.
I want to know more about his character. Who's this guy? What is he doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously here for the pasta, but his body language says a lot. He's
Absolutely.
he leans back a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he seems very relaxed, but maybe too relaxed. Maybe he's trying to get out of there.
He's so relaxed, but then he gets up at the end.
Right.
Was he so relaxed that now maybe he has to go to the bathroom?
Could be. The other thing is maybe he's being like held hostage by some sort of unsavory figure.
That's always a possibility. You can never discount that.
He could be getting kidnapped by the pasta beast.
Right.
The pasta beast is he's around. He has a presence inside of Olive Garden. He is a big piece of pasta, and he is something that only a few people can see. So this guy might be the pasta whisperer.
You know what? He could be in league with Nintendo, and he's listening in on these people's conversation because he gets up when he hears that they're talking about the Switch,
Right.
and he thinks they're going too far. I need to stop this.
Needs to put an end to it.
Well, he is the pasta whisperer, so I mean he's got the pasta on his mind.
It's possible maybe that's actually the genesis of the
Right.
Switch console.
It could be the opposite of what we were thinking. Maybe they're not, saying something they heard. It's that the guy in the background hears them talking about this and thinks,
When does he?
that gives me the perfect idea for a new Nintendo console.
Yeah, we should watch when it comes around again the exact moment that he stands up, because is it after they've said Switch and share? That's the question I have.
See?
It's right after Switch,
right,
he nods his
yeah.
head.
I think the guy in the background in the blue is one of the heads at Nintendo and got the idea from the Switch, from this guy talking about Switch.
Right.
But the person that he is sitting with, who is in a black shirt, I believe, must be the head of Sony. And he stuck around to hear the woman's side of things and thought, boy, the Switch is okay, but share would make for a really good dedicated button on a controller.
That's a good point. You got the genesis of both those ideas happening at the same table. It's really a historic moment if you're a fan of the history of video games. He hears the Switch, other guy hears the share, and then a few years later, they're leading the market.
Yeah. PS4, Nintendo Switch.
They're on top.
Never saw it coming unless you were a big Olive Garden fan.
Exactly. It's so interesting how these sort of clues were dropped years in advance, but it's just such a complicated web that has to be untangled that no one really caught on until now.
I think this commercial really hints at the next movie of National Treasure and how it deals with the Switch and the share, and Nicolas Cage is trying to pick which team he's part of.
Team Switch or Team Share?
Exactly. I could see that being a tough choice for a guy like Nicolas Cage. And we'll switch.
I think it's interesting how, he can't be the guy that gets the same thing, Like,
Right.
he's just not going to have that. If somebody wants the same thing that he's ordering, he's going to change his order.
Very true.
It shows a lot of arrogance, to be frank.
It shows that he can't stand up for himself and just do what his heart wants. He's got his pride's on the line.
He's got his pride too much in the Nintendo Switch, but
Got that marsala. Notice how they squish it down there so the cheese just squirts out at all angles.
It's just overflowing, really.
Yeah, I got the close-up, got the hands on the breadstick.
now the thing about this food here is it's naturally homegrown. It's very organic. It's always made by beautiful chefs, and when it's made by beautiful chefs, it becomes beautiful people, it becomes beautiful food, then it becomes beautiful pasta, and then anything in life everything is possible once you got Olive Garden.
Absolutely. That's a great perspective. It's a great way of looking at it, really.
I bet we've talked about this before, but I really love all the different angles they use for those close-up food shots.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of my favorite quotes is "Impossible is nothing."
Yeah, I think that's really shows the connections between Olive Garden and a great sportswear brand, Adidas.
Yeah.
That could be an Adidas shirt that he's wearing. Adidas is, you think of them as a sportswear company, but they're also in the more business casual setting. She laughs that one off. She's like, that's not happening.
Yeah, it's such a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Why am I here with this guy?
Extreme close-ups are going on right now on this food. Look at all that broccoli, and then you got the split screen.
You got the split screen. That's probably another tie-in with the Switch.
Because you got the local split screen.
Right, and it's split in the same sort of vertical manner that the Switch Joy-Cons would connect and disconnect.
That's a good point. So you flip off the Joy-Cons. You got one for salad. You got one to control the salad and one to control the breadsticks. Absolutely.
Perfect analogy.
I think maybe they might release that model.
The same thing is with the salad is on the left, and the left Joy-Con is currently having a lot of connection issues.
Right.
And a lot of people don't connect with the salad when they go to Olive Garden, but everyone gets the breadsticks.
That's a very good point. Because salad, sometimes you swap that out for soup. Sometimes maybe you're too full, you don't even eat it.
Maybe sometimes you swap off that salad for more breadsticks. Some more soup for more breadsticks because it's all free, man.
Really, the breadsticks are kind of a salad of their own. They're a bread salad that's been formed into a stick. And sometimes you say maybe I'm kind of tired of these breadsticks, but then all you gotta do is you take them, you break them in half a few times, take them and break them, throw them in a bowl, and you're golden. That's a salad right there. That's breadstick salad.
Breadstick salad is superior. I think Romano Cicero, a great cook, would say that is 100% the great idea.
Yeah, everybody loves croutons. You get a salad, you want those croutons for that crunchy, bready goodness. But why stop there? Just make the whole salad croutons.
Bread.
But not even just croutons, but make it breadstick.
Breadstick
salad.
Yeah, I think that's too hard for some people to break their breadsticks in half. So I think they need to get the chef to come down and break the breadsticks for them. That's pretty tough, honestly.
That's probably why the guy never goes for that breadstick, because he knows deep down he's not a tough enough dude.
He's not tough enough to break
into that stick.
To break that stick apart. Yeah, it's interesting. You talk about breadstick salad. Could that be an upcoming menu item?
I was just wondering that myself.
Because right now you got to brew it up yourself.
I think honestly it's something they've probably been looking at and are probably considering to put on the menu, at least for a test run here pretty soon.
Absolutely. I'd say keep your eyes peeled.
They did recently have this whole thing about how can we create the next more innovative breadstick. They had this whole competition.
They had breadstick sandwiches, I think.
Right, breadstick sandwiches won out on that one, but I'll guarantee you that breadstick salad was in the running.
Had to
probably
be.
very close.
Had to be, absolutely.
So I'm sure it's coming up soon, very soon.
Yeah, I'd say keep your eyes tuned to put on CNN, MSNBC, Fox. They'll get the breaking news for you before anyone else. Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, before everyone has to attend to Olive Garden before they work there, the master chefs, they have to attend to Breadstick University, and that teaches them everything about breadsticks they can ever learn in their life, and they become master breadstickers.
Breadstick.
It is very important that anyone who works any position at an Olive Garden has to take breadstick training. That's a fact, actually.
Absolutely,
Of course.
And it's one of the most prestigious higher education universities out there.
It is. It's actually quadruple accredited.
Absolutely.
If you can get through Breadstick University, because it is extremely tough, you'll be able to get any job you would like. Most jobs will offer you jobs just because you have attended
Right.
and succeeded at Breadstick
You
University.
get through Breadstick U, there's no way you're going hungry.
You get that on your resume, and anything can happen because you just have such a well-rounded skill set.
Well-rounded breadsticks, too.
Absolutely. That's one of the classes is teaching you how to make the perfectly
Right.
round breadstick.
This is actually a very important thing because nobody is going to want to eat a breadstick that's, some sort of a rectangular prism.
Yeah. It's got to be as close to cylindrical as possible, but
Right.
also you want to round off the
Right,
edges.
it always got those
Round off the
rounded,
ends.
tapered edges.
Yeah.
It's very, very important.
It's all about getting the perfect size, the perfect shape.
Yeah. You need the curves. The curves in the breadstick are what draw people in.
Yeah.
I think breadsticks are very sexual items, and for
Yes.
more than the obvious, they do take on a slightly phallic nature. But the curves in themselves, and the color, the sort of fleshy color, and those sensual curves, and the scent, it just it's really irresistible. There's a whole science to it.
Yeah, and you're talking about sensual, talking about this date that we're seeing going on in this commercial.
Right.
We assume it's a date. You talk about Olive Garden when you hear your family. Maybe these people are looking to be starting a family, and this is the place to do it. Is Olive
I
Garden.
think that could actually be what the hidden tension is here. I think she wants to start a family, and he's having second thoughts.
Yeah, that's kind of reflected in the kind of waffling about the menu
Right.
choice.
Maybe
She goes straight for the breadstick, which could be an obvious illusion.
Absolutely.
maybe they want to have two last names, and the guy wants the last name of Switch, and she wants the last name of Share. So they're
Yeah.
gonna have a last name of Switch Share.
Well, maybe he wants to switch last names, and she wants to share by creating a hyphenated last name.
That's a very
Yeah.
good point because this guy's really come out of left field with that one because not very often do you see two people get married
Right.
and they switch.
They
their
both
last
agree
names.
that they don't want the traditional taking the male's last name because that's too easy. They want to switch up, but they can agree on how they want to do that.
So he's taking a pretty unorthodox perspective. One question I have, maybe her last name could be Marsala and his last name could be Limone.
That's true.
And then by sharing, not only are they sharing the dish of Marsala Limone, but that's also they're going to be their
Right,
name.
and that could be why they came to Olive Garden because they heard about these new dishes and they're like, well, if these dishes are named after us, we must try them.
Absolutely. Maybe they're even getting some kind of a discount. Once they see it on the credit card receipt, they're like, knock that one down 10%. When you talk about when you got a relationship going, it's all about the giving and it's all about the give and take.
Right.
And I think that's reflected so well in this commercial because you talk about switch, you talk about share. There's a lot of that. It's a balancing act, is really what it is.
It is indeed.
Indeed.
If you switch too much or you share too much, you get a problem. So you gotta find that delicate
A
balance.
switch is kind of like a permanent solution, and a share is more of like a as it goes sort of feeling because you can get a bit of both with the share, but you're gonna get all of one with the switch.
And that really shows the ambiguity here because who's to say who's right, you know? How we don't know if this meal went well. We don't know if they decided to switch. We don't know if they decided to share, and we don't know if after the meal if they were satisfied with their decision or if they would go back and do it differently. But that's life right there. That's life.
Sure is. I think it's really interesting that Marsala, stuffed chicken Marsala, just sounds really, really good. Oh man,
It's that creamy sauce.
it does. It looks so creamy. And I mean, I don't want to talk down to the limone, but that stuffed chicken Marsala, that's definitely what I would go for.
Sure,
Just saying.
I see where you're coming from, and you got to respect the limone. It's on the menu. We don't want to say anything negative towards that, but you see that Marsala sauce.
Yeah, you
just
see that being ladled on
water
there. It's just
falling,
like,
water
oh
falling onto
my.
there. It's
It's going into all the right creeks and crevices. you know
exactly.
what I mean?
It's gonna become embedded. It's gonna be a part of the chicken itself.
Yeah, it really marinates there. I just think it's really great that they're going for the true Italian classics like Marsala. That's really like reaching deep into the old country.
Deep into the lore, absolutely. Going way back to get that marsala. And notice that it's new, by the way. It's not just stuffed chicken. It's new stuffed
chicken limone. Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, let's try to unpack that. You've got the chicken. You got it. You stuff it.
It's stuffed chicken. But is it new stuffed chicken or is it new stuffed chicken?
Is the chicken new or is the stuff new?
Right.
Or is the limone new? Or the marsala?
I think it's new stuffed chicken limone. So they have some chicken limone that's been sitting around for a while. But they new stuffed that.
Yeah, that brings up a grammatical question, because wouldn't it be more accurate to say it was newly stuffed?
Maybe it's stuffed with new.
Some
new sauce. Some new cheese blend.
Unlike Wendy's, Olive Garden is always fresh. Wendy's claims they're always fresh, but all the food here is made hands down with lots of love by every chef.
It is made by a lot of hands.
An important distinction I think we have to make there: the marsala is not new, but the limone is. So he goes for the marsala, which is a tried and true aspect of the menu.
That's probably what he always goes when he brings hot dates to Olive Garden.
But then at the last moment he tries a switch. He wants to go with that new limone.
Because she pulled one over on him, because he didn't expect that to happen. He didn't think that she'd try and take the same thing that he ordered.
Absolutely, but that limone is kind of an unknown because it's new.
Right. See, that's why he wants to switch.
What's your take?
He's not sure how he'll like it.
What's your take on that one, Sam?
Oh man. Well, that's a tough decision, but I think I'll go with the Nintendo Switch.
Absolutely. You can't go wrong with that. It's all over the news, and people are having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm more of a share person. I think just the fact that you can have a controller with a dedicated share button is just really important, because honestly, why even have any other buttons? Because when I think about gaming, I just think about posting stuff to my feed, sharing things with my friends.
Because that's the real game.
That's really what it's all about.
That's the real game.
Everything else is secondary.
Absolutely.
I just want to be able to press that button to share instantly.
Yeah, you're both offering some interesting perspectives on that.
Honestly,
for sure.
I think the PlayStation 4 could take this, PlayStation 5, could take this even further. You have that share button already. Now, you just augment that with a like, a subscribe, and a comment button.
And also a Olive Garden button that gives you free breadsticks.
Yeah,
if we could put, if someone out there, if we have any product designers in our audience,
it'd be great to get a prototype.
You could whip up a prototype with all of those vital buttons.
The most important button is the free breadsticks button from Olive Garden, straight from the beautiful chefs of Olive Garden.
It really is, it really is, and I think that would just kind of build that unity between the synergy between the Sony PlayStation environment and the Olive Garden atmosphere. Bring them together.
So then you would have family within your console.
Absolutely.
And in your life. Everywhere, every time, every
It's a family device.
Exactly. I mean, you buy one for your whole family. You sit around and play some of those great 4-player games.
Then you get Olive Garden food straight to you, the Olive Garden button.
And the same with the Switch, though. I mean, that's a very family console.
The food they could switch the Olive Garden food with the Nintendo Switch if they had a button.
I'm gonna hit you guys with this one. You got the Nintendo Switch. You can switch it into a mobile console and then take that mobile console to Olive Garden.
Oh wow, that is true family right there.
And then maybe you can access the Olive Garden software while you're in Olive Garden from your Switch. Press a few buttons and get that special service right to your table.
I hear that Nintendo's really opening up to all the indie developers, so that's most likely going to be an actual application.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't get more indie than Olive Garden.
Right. They're the original indie.
Yeah.
Even before Skateboarder Indie, there was Olive Garden Indie.
Yeah, Olive Garden actually sponsored some of the first big skateboarders. I think Bob
Rodney Mullen.
Rodney Mullen.
One of the greatest of all time.
I hear they're also...
Bam.
I hear they're all.
Jera.
I hear they're also in talks to sponsor the Indy 500 because what's more indie than that?
Right. Yeah. That's like the definition of independent.
Absolutely.
Right. And yeah, no, I love that idea of taking the switch to the Olive Garden when you're switching the dishes and you're switching the games.
You talk about Breath of the Wild. How about Taste of the Breadsticks?
Oh yeah, sign me up. That just sounds like a perfect combination of flavor and fun.
You eat those wild flavors. You get them on your breath. Then that's the real Breath of the Wild right there.
Oh yeah, so when you eat those deep flavor breadsticks and you get that deep flavor breath, so everybody that sees you afterwards knows that you've been to Olive Garden and you're having a good time. They just get jealous.
You make a great point because it really is all about the flavors.
Actually, a few months back, this was supposed to be secret, but Trump and Obama had a meeting at Olive Garden, and they both had dishes that they thought were spectacular. And that night, they were not mad at each other at all.
And now, did they switch or did they share?
I think Obama was a big share kind of guy, and Trump was a big type of switch kind of guy.
That's very interesting.
Trump definitely seems like the kind of guy that wouldn't let someone order the same thing that he did.
Definitely. It's very interesting to view this commercial through that lens.
Right.
And if you bring Hillary to Olive Garden, she will not go to prison.
Because she'll be
family, and you
family
can't try family members for the same crimes.
That's such a great point. It's really important to get that perspective. That kind of ties this Olive Garden experience kind of into the modern world.
Yeah, and
that we live in
politics,
today.
Olive Garden is with everything.
It really places it, puts it in context.
Politics, but also Paul Blart, Mall Cop.
Politics. Like with a U.
I mean, I think that ties in with the security guy walking around.
That's a good point. I mean,
this could be in a mall. There's always Olive Gardens tied with malls.
There are Olive Gardens in a mall, so maybe this guy's not just Olive Garden security, but he's mall security.
Olive Garden.
Do we see a Segway anywhere nearby?
I think there's an officer named Paul that works in there. He has a Segway, but he's too polite to be riding on a Segway inside of that Olive Garden.
Sure.
But he's an officer for it.
I think there's a good segue here where she picks up the breadstick and then afterwards it cuts to the close-up of food. I think that works as a pretty good segue.
That is a good segue. I think any mall cop would be proud of that one.
Or I guess more so the pan onto the Olive Garden logo on the side of the wall and then the cut into the close-up of the Olive Garden food, so you really get that brand establishment.
You got to get that association between the brand name you know and love and the food you trust.
Right.
One thing that's interesting, an omission from this commercial, there's no mention of the price. Typically, I don't want to say always, but a lot of times you get the price in the commercial. No prices here.
I think if you go to Olive Garden, you choose the price with how much money you have in the wallet and how much you like the food. That's how great the Olive Garden atmosphere is, and that's how they make so much money, and it lives on for such a long time.
That's such an interesting, because they're kind of like the band camp of restaurants.
Right. Yeah. It could be a pay what you want meal.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept, and maybe by not telling us the prices of this food, they're launching a whole new payment system.
Right, and a new album while they're at it.
Right,
on Bandcamp to support how they're using the same system.
Could that be the new Cher album?
Right, the new Cher featuring Olive Garden album.
Pay what you want for Cher's album and also for the Olive Garden food.
In that album, you will hear a lot of breadsticks, but I shouldn't spoil anything else.
Yeah, I hear it's kind of a concept album, so you wouldn't want to spoil any of the story.
That's really interesting because you'd think they would go for something very, very pop oriented. This is Olive Garden; they're trying to appeal to the mainstream, and this is Cher. She's a very popular pop artist.
Yeah.
But I've heard from all the reports that this is a very experimental album, and they're really trying to drill down into the meaning of what are breadsticks and what is family.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still got that pop
Definitely
culture.
has that pop culture tie-in, the pop feel. I hear there's like a lot of upbeat songs on it, but there's still a lot of depth. You don't quite. Maybe you don't expect that with Cher, but I know that I expect that with Olive Garden.
It's also got that soda pop angle that you can order if you don't want to have the wine. You could get like a Coca-Cola.
Indeed.
What is fate, and why does it deal with Olive Garden?
It's a great question. I
That's
think that's one that they definitely tackle on this album. I mean, I don't want to say too much. I don't think I can give out too many details here, but I did get an exclusive preview screening from it in the works, and I can say it does tackle that question.
Absolutely, I think that's one of the central questions that even a lot of philosophers have that on their radar. But now this new album is really diving into that angle. Sun-dried tomatoes. Can you believe that?
I love those sun-dried tomatoes. I know I've said that I like that shot before earlier in this, but boy, that's a great shot.
I mean, it's an ultra close up.
Oh yeah, it's ultra close up. It's got that real nice knife, and it's just like that little square of a sun-dried tomato, and they're chopping it so finely, and it's just. It makes me want to be there. It makes me want to smell that sun-dried tomato. It makes me want to just like put one of those strips on my tongue and just kind of chew it around. Ah, it looks so good.
That tomato is fresh out of the sun.
Straight out of the sun.
They had it,
It's been on the roof for like probably the last week.
Yeah,
it's just ready to go.
You make a good point there. If you ever go to Olive Garden, you can look up on the roof, and sometimes you'll see the tomatoes drying if it's a sunny day.
Yeah, that's where they do it.
It's got to be a sunny day though. But there's actually sort of a complex ladder pulley system in the back room where they can.
Yeah, it's on a sort of a vertical conveyor belt system where it goes and it scoops up a tomato that's ready to be dried, takes it to the roof, puts it on the top there, and then once it's dried out, the weight changes, so then it knows that it's ready to go, so it pulls it back in, takes it right down to the chef. It's genius.
Yeah, that's the kind of technology you can only get at a place like Olive Garden.
Yeah, I mean, from the Switch to the PlayStation 4 share button to the sun-drying tomato conveyor, they're really at the forefront of cutting-edge technology at Olive Garden.
A lot of food places have tried to be like Olive Garden and they found the secrets, but it was too hard to do those secrets, so they just failed drastically.
Yeah, because it's one thing to know what the secrets are. Execution is a whole different ballgame.
Right, and that's where Olive Garden really, changes the playing field here because, they're super independent, but they have the resources for this now. So they're spending so much in R&D, and you wouldn't really think that, but they definitely do, and it's more than just coming up with new dishes, which is a huge part of it as well.
And the way they're able to do that without compromising their integrity and their Italian authenticity is just awe-inspiring.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
Every time.
Every
and
shot
then
is a beautiful shot.
They follow that dried tomato, which is so perfectly dried, and they follow it straight up with that just moist, wet marsala, just river, just flowing out of that ladle.
Yeah, it's all about. It's
a perfect contrast. It's such a great contrast. I
completely agree with you. I've traveled all over the world. I saw beautiful mountains. I've even went into space. But looking at these beautiful food products, nothing beats that in life. It's just nothing is more beautiful than Olive Garden.
Right.
Put beauty inside a restaurant, it is Olive Garden. You make it even more beautiful.
That's so true. And you bring up the space aspect. I know you were one of the very lucky few to get invited to go up on that most recent commercial SpaceX flight. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they did serve Olive Garden there, right?
Yeah, they did. And actually, the Olive Garden was more outstanding than the outside of the
view,
station.
huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I heard there was some controversy about that because people were thinking, as great as space is the
Right.
Olive Garden going to take away from the space?
I've heard Elon Musk was really getting pretty upset about that, and the only reason they still they still have it is because he went up, tried it himself, and realized that this is how Olive Garden needs to be experienced. So
it just adds to the flavor.
even though the Olive Garden is what people go there for, it's he's okay with it just because it's so great.
Yeah, I mean it's great for recruiting new customers to take on that adventure.
Right, Olive Garden really is bringing a lot of appeal to the space program because normally people wouldn't be too interested in that, but with the aspect of Olive Garden in space, now there's people coming out in droves.
Absolutely. That's such a great, I can't wait till we see that in some of the latest commercials. You got Olive Garden, you got space.
Right.
Combine them, anything can happen.
And I think they're getting there, like with all the mentions of the technology aspects in here, all the allusions to that at least, and there's a lot going on
It's kind
in
of
the tech field
absolutely.
that's pointing towards their future in the space and aeronautics industry.
You make an excellent point there because that's really the next frontier when it comes to technology.
Some might say even the final frontier.
Yeah, and you talk about that from that perspective, from that angle. You throw in the Olive Garden food, and you've got a combination that is just it's blowing up.
Oh, it is. It sure is. But not in the bad way usually. I mean, I know SpaceX has had a few explosions on site, but they've all been.
With the blowing up,
it's not stopping progress.
The flavors are blowing up in your mouth.
Oh yeah.
And that's where it counts.
Like this Marsala, that's just bursting with flavor. It's a flavor explosion. And that limone is so crisp.
As big of a life as I have living inside of a mental institution, seeing different people and what keeps them alive, the thing that truly keeps people alive is once they have Olive Garden meals given to them. Their facial expressions change and their views of life change. And all of a sudden, they're not mentally handicapped anymore. And they're living the dreams they want. And they're getting $100,000 a year just because they ate those Olive Garden meals.
Yeah. You make a great point, and just to add to that, you see that ladle with that Marsala sauce? Mm-hmm. I'd like to see him ladle that right into my mouth.
Oh yeah, I would pay extra for that. Honestly, the sauce is where it's at. I think if they set up a service for getting sauce straight in the mouth, that'd be a real popular one.
Yeah, I'd like to see the waiter comes out with that ladle and just
that big thick ladle just ready to go, and I just wanted him to lay it all over me,
And I don't want to take anything away from that combination of the chicken and the Marsala sauce.
Right, it is a delicate balance there, and the chefs have worked so long to perfect that.
But it couldn't hurt to just get a little bit of extra.
Every once in a while, you want to treat yourself to just some hot, thick sauce straight down your throat.
Just that pure Marsala experience.
Did you know that
so creamy?
The old Olive Garden sauce was actually old Olive Garden sauce turned into gold when you knew how to liquidize it right. So why it tastes so good is because it's partly gold.
And that gets into sort of the origins of Olive Garden, because as we all know, it started from, a failed alchemist. But the thing was, it turned out he didn't actually fail, but the food ended up being much more profitable.
Yeah, it's interesting. You make the connections there. You also make the connection to maybe the gold rush.
Right.
The back in the 1800s, when everyone was rushing to get that gold, now everyone's rushing to get that sauce.
That's true.
In Olive Garden, the true way to learn how to be wealthy is knowing how to order there. That will teach you in life the way to live wealthy. If you do not know how to get a meal at Olive Garden, you're going to be a poor man, and I feel sorry for you. That's why you need a life coach.
Yeah, it's a great reason to get a life coach, because a life coach can teach you how to properly integrate yourself into the Olive Garden family experience. Because you talk about this guy, I think this guy needs a life coach, if you know what I'm saying.
No, he needs some help. He
needs to kind of be coached through the ordering experience at Olive Garden so he can understand really how to get the most out of his experience and also not ruin the experience for others.
Right. I think he's a bit too arrogant, and I think she's kind of one of the first people to really call him out on it. And I hope that this starts a sort of change in his life for the better.
Yeah, it's kind of a what you'd call a wake up call.
Right. I really hope he decides to switch some of his life choices.
That's where the real switch needs to take place.
Right, a personality switch.
Absolutely.
And she's looking to share some of her more positive personality traits with him, trying to make him a better person.
Which is what gives me hope that this relationship can really blossom.
Right. I do think it's a bit of a rocky start, and there's some problems in the background here. But I'm not saying it doesn't work out. I think these two probably stick through it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's an interesting point is that actually to eat the Olive Garden food, it's an experience where you'll never be the same again. Right. And we've only seen the before. We haven't seen the after.
And I'm sure that her suggestion to share is what they end up doing, and then everybody knows that when you share Olive Garden food, that creates such a strong bond between the people doing the sharing. It's unbreakable.
You got the bond between the people. You've also got the bond between the Marsala and the Limone coming together to create a whole new flavor experience.
Because you have the very deep, rich Marsala and the very sharp, clean Limone, and they work so well together.
Absolutely, and if, going back to our earlier theory, if that in fact is the last names of these two people, then by creating that combination, when they get together and get married, it'll be a combination that's as sweet as those sauces.
Wow.
It really all
That's
comes
just blowing my
it all
mind,
comes full circle.
That is definitely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the perspectives. You see all those lights in the background?
It's good lighting there.
The lighting is
very festive in a way.
Exactly. Is this like around the holidays, do you think?
I don't know. I think it's just a very festive location that they have.
I mean, I should say it's always a holiday when you're at Olive Garden.
Right, of course.
I believe it's a summer night, just like in Italy, and it's nice and cool outside, and everybody is enjoying their night because they've gone to this restaurant that they've been waiting years to go to.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could be one of those open air Olive Gardens.
And it looks very cozy, and the lights definitely contribute to that. That's a very sort of relaxing, sort of freeform feel.
It looks very romantic for that two people.
Right,
with those lights, and it really gives a good feeling for both of them.
Yeah, it's a feeling that you can feel through the commercial.
Wow. I don't know if this is even possible to tell, but are any of the other people there in groups that are more than two? Or is it all just couples?
Now you're starting to blow my mind, because I gotta check this out the next shot.
Well, I think that doesn't make a lot of sense, Max, because I mean, if you think about it, it's family, so it's not just
right,
couples.
But family can be
family.
2 people. 2 people can be a family. A couple is a family.
I know, but I mean, family's more than just a couple.
All I'm saying here is this is something that I've been kind of noticing, is I don't notice like a large group, which, Sam, you're on. I mean, you got a good point, because that's not usually the case. The big groups are typical for such a great place like Olive Garden. So I'm wondering if this is maybe like maybe it's a couples night. Or perhaps even a couples specific branch.
Yeah, now if there's different Olive Garden branches based on the type of family, that would just add a whole new layer. Just like they're layering on that Marsala sauce.
Mm. There's definitely a lot of layers in all of this.
Share.
But I mean, so you've been looking in the background, right? Can you either confirm or deny my suspicion here?
I haven't seen a group of 3 or more yet.
There's definitely groups of 2. There's the 2 group in the far back. There's a couple on the left, and there's a couple on the immediate right, and there's a couple in the far right, kind of behind the couple in the immediate right. And as far as I can tell, unless I'm missing like someone that's cut off from the framing, it really does seem like it's just a couples night.
Couples night, yeah.
And I mean, what better way to bring people together than a couple's night at the Olive Garden?
Could this be some kind of a blind date situation?
Honestly, that could be. And also, what if it's some sort of a speed date situation?
Now that
What if it's like a date switch?
that'd be the ultimate switch right there.
Yeah, what if he's saying switch because he's like getting shown up and maybe he wants to switch tables with another date?
And she's thinking,
We can make this work. Let's
share. She's trying to break the paradigm and share the table with a third person.
Maybe they're trying to get a three-way going.
Yeah, absolutely.
A chicken marsala stuffed three-way.
Yeah, I mean, that's some serious stuffing right there.
Someone's getting stuffed.
But then they're cheating on their 2 meals if they get a third one. That's just not right.
Well, when you're there, you're family, so anything goes.
I mean, you'll have to take that up with this lady because she's the one calling the shots.
I know one thing's for sure. She wants to share and he wants to switch.
I think that's well established,
Yeah.
and it's important to recognize that as kind
That's
of the,
definitely the key theme.
it's kind of the
to this
corner,
whole
it's the
thing.
cornerstone, really.
Right, right.
This is the cornerstone of this masterpiece.
And maybe that guy's not even a security guy. Maybe he's just looking for a partner.
Looking for a partner, it's possible. Yeah, he's just doing laps until something opens up. Maybe it's kind of like a musical chairs situation where
Right.
there's one extra person and not enough chairs, and he's the man that's been left on the outside, and he's
Or he could be looking for his date. Maybe didn't give a good enough description of each other, and they're having a hard time finding.
now here's one. He's glancing around. He actually glances at that table in the background right at the end, and then right after he glances, he starts to walk away, and then the man stands up. So he just missed his opportunity there. He was like thinking, is this guy going to get up? He looks at him, but then the guy doesn't get up, so he keeps walking. Then the guy gets up. Do you think that chair still open when he makes his next lap? It's kind of like when you're trying to find a parking spot, so you keep driving around in circles.
It could be.
I'd be interested to know if he ever made it to that seat.
Right. This guy could be one of the higher ups in the Xbox division. Could end up sitting with the Sony guy after Nintendo's.
Yeah, he's been left out. You got Sony and Nintendo at the table together. Yeah. No room for Microsoft.
And that would explain why the Xbox is so behind in this generation, honestly.
Absolutely, because while they're getting the latest info from this couple, he's too busy focused on when is that guy going to leave.
And then all he gets is some secondary information from the Sony guy, and Sony's not going to give out their top secrets.
Absolutely, this could explain not only the trajectory of video game consoles over the past decade, but also into the future. You extrapolate, you look, is Xbox going to be the one that continues to fall behind while Nintendo and Sony prosper?
Right.
That makes perfect sense, and that may also be why Bill Gates and Steve Jobs ate at Olive Garden regularly. They wanted to see which business would do better. And it's hard to say, but both of them went there a lot, and you'd have to look into it more with the historians. But
I think unless Microsoft starts sharing some more with the fans and the competitors, and really decides to switch stuff up, then if they don't do that, they're gonna keep falling behind.
That's a good point. If anyone out there watching this is from Microsoft, I'd say I'd suggest you take that advice, because I think the answers are all spelled out in this commercial right here.
And I think the best thing that the heads of Microsoft could do right now is look into a Olive Garden partnership.
Absolutely. Maybe have a company-wide screening of this commercial, just to kind of explain where they're at and why it's happening.
Yeah, I think they need to stop canceling games and start getting in with Olive Garden.
That sounds like a winning business strategy. I don't know of anyone who's ever partnered up with Olive Garden and then regretted it, because I think it's always a winning move.
It's always been successful for both.
Because it's unlimited.
Right. It's unlimited breadsticks, unlimited corporate success,
unlimited love.
Yeah, we're coming through the final commercial here. Watching it one more time, I really feel like we've barely scratched the surface.
Oh yeah, just barely.
I hoping everyone continues the conversation in the comments section.
Right. We'd really love to hear your opinions on all of this.
Because
stuff
there's just
that we've missed. We know we've missed a lot here.
there's just so many layers.
I know this is like the special episode, but even in 1 hour, there's not enough time to unpack.
Even
everything.
an hour, it flew by. I mean, we're just getting started here, and that really goes to show that Olive Garden. There's a lot of meaning there. There's a lot of depth there. And Max, do you have any final thoughts about this commercial?
I just want to say that it's a great looking couple. I hope they stick through it. I think they do. Oh my gosh, that sun-dried tomato looks so good. I want to eat that, and then I want someone to ladle some marsala straight into my mouth.
Absolutely. Sam, what are your thoughts?
Well, that's a good point, Max. I think Olive Garden's doing everything right. I think they're going to continue doing everything right. And because of this experience, Switch and Share are going to have a baby, and it's going to be tied in with Nintendo, and it's going to be tied with the PlayStation.
Oh, yeah. I just want to do a real quick shout-out to the Share Olive Garden Bandcamp exclusive album. Watch out for that in the near future.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled, I'd say. That's about it for us. Ready to sign off, but just want to let you know about the social media situation. You could, if you're the kind of person that's into getting social, you can go follow. It's Great Teen Vids, 14 Kids. I just wanted to let you know we are on YouTube, of course. We're also on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram, Snapchat, Reddit, Vine, also Tumblr, Google+. You can get us on Pinterest and Periscope. Check out MySpace, Spotify, Newgrounds, Flipagram, Amazon, DeviantArt, Imgur. You got Vimeo, Steam, and Foursquare. Also, don't forget about VidMe, Flickr. You got Redbubble, Dailymotion, SoundCloud. You can go to Ask.fm. You can also go to Last.fm. Don't forget about IMDb. Definitely check out the Airbnb, the Skype, the Yelp, the Blogspot, the Wikipedia. Gotta get to the Stack Overflow. Don't forget about that Bandcamp, the LinkedIn, 500px. Check us out on Armor Games, Dig, Twitch, Trello. Hit us up on eBay. Go to Mitomo, Pocket, Behance, Etsy, Congregate, Elo, Slack, Xbox, Dribble, Medium, Christian Mingle, GitHub, Product Hunt, Photo, Venmo, List, and Stellar. That's about it for us today. Thanks for talking, guys. Also, don't forget to check us out on Discord.